there's way too much fixation on some of the standard platforms, essentially Facebook, Instagram, and using certain Google platforms. I think people are starting to look beyond that now.
Welcome to Mobile Heroes Uncensored, episode 20 something. We're not really embarrassed about our age, I guess. We're just getting up there. We're getting more episodes. It's kind of cool. It's great. It's hard to know which one it is anymore. My name is John Kutzier. My co-host is Peggy Ann Saltz, today we're chatting about holiday marketing. It's not the Club Med kind of holiday, probably should be, but it's the New Year's, Christmas, Halloween kind of holiday. And to do so, we've got no fewer than three mobile heroes with us. Peggy, who are we talking to today?
Well, John, it just happens to be, by the way, lucky number 22. So it's one of those lucky numbers where we are. We've been doing it for this long and we have a great lineup as usual. I'll start off with you, Caroline. Caroline Schlünsen, channel lead at marketing at About You, which is one of the largest fashion and lifestyle platforms in Europe. And Caroline has helped grow the About You app to now 26 markets across Europe. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you.
We have Athina Sofou. She is head of digital marketing at Pizza Fan. There she leads digital performance marketing of tech brands and products. And her product is Pizza Fan, which I didn't know this, John, but I do know now, the number one pizza delivery restaurant chain in Greece for the past 25 years. And nearly 40% of the entire Greek population using her website or app. We have Justin Campbell because he is head of creative business development at Admiral Media. So Admiral Media is focused on combining performance marketing with brilliant creative. That's what he does as well to help companies grow their app downloads and market penetration. So we have a different view in here, someone who works with clients like our guests here as well.
Love it, love it, love it, because you always find with people like that, they've got their eye on a lot of different verticals and they're looking
Mhm.
at a lot of different campaigns. You learn a lot. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. Super pumped to have you here. And maybe let's kick off here. Let's quantify the opportunity a little bit. What kind of opportunity is a major holiday? How can that impact your conversions or marketing results? Carolyn, maybe let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a huge opportunity usually. I mean, you see a significant rise in conversion rates, under a pretty big influx or even huge influx of paid and organic users. At the same time, what I also think is important to recognize is also that you usually do see increased CPM, so higher cost of acquisition. And as also often happens with sales, lower basket values, lower margins sometimes. So you have to weigh all these factors against each other to kind of estimate how big the opportunity of a major holiday and how major it actually is.
Athena, do you see similar things in pizza?
Yes, and we do have a very prolonged period of high seasonality because for us it starts all the way from November, and we don't have that much the whole Halloween season. So we emphasize Black Friday and then Christmas, and it's just going upward. In terms of everything, in terms of conversion rates, of total conversions, new users also, it's going crazy around this period for user acquisition. Everybody's ordering pizza.
I know I am. Justin, even turn to you. It can be a major positive, and you can acquire a whole bunch of new customers or users. It could also be a major negative, right? Because there's a lot of busyness and noise in the space. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of noise in the space. I think that this Black Friday is probably going to be the noisiest on record. And I'd be very curious to see how long it will take for a lot of people's packages to be delivered due to, supply chain issues and delivery issues. And there's also huge demand of, staff to deliver stuff to people's houses. So there's a lot of noise on Black Friday. We do see some clients actually stepping out and saying, this isn't our time, we're not going to do it. And we see some clients that are like really eager to get going. So it's a bit of a mix, you've got to choose your battles, but definitely Black Friday's got a lot of noise.
That's the first time I've heard, John, that someone wants to step out.
costs are super high. There's
Mhm.
tons of ad dollars flowing in, which means lots of ads out there. And some people just say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to play in that game. Maybe I don't have a holiday specific product anyways, and I'll save my money. Maybe I'll do it 3 months, 4 months earlier. And then I'll have acquired users that I can then message internally with owned channels. So there's different ways I've seen marketers play that in the past, Peggy.
So
I
here,
think what
uh,
happened, yeah, sorry,
mhm.
sorry to interrupt, but I think what happens is that, for example, in the travel sector, they might be looking at January. So the travel sector might be tempted to say, you can book a Black Friday deal now for a great holiday next year. But in reality, people aren't really booking holidays at this time. So maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
So I'm hearing that Caro and Athena, they're looking at holiday campaigns. I'll stay with you for a moment, Justin, because I'm curious. Does everyone need it? There are some verticals that aren't, as you mentioned, they're passing or travel, maybe thinking about differently. Are there verticals that shouldn't altogether?
I think everybody wants to get involved, right? I would say one vertical that shouldn't at this time is fintech, and banks. I really don't feel this is the time that people will be looking to drive downloads in that space, to be honest, because there literally is so much noise. And I think people have their heads in other places. We're seeing some clients from e-commerce actually saying that they're suffering at this time because the COVID lockdowns have ended and people now have their focus on, going out and dining out and entertainment. So see a lot of things changing at the moment. It's incredible. So people in the entertainment business, like music and gig tickets and events, they're doing really well again. But yeah, I think there are some things that shouldn't be happening right now. And I think fintech should take a break.
Hmm, interesting. Very interesting. I mean, I know we're spending money like water, and that's why one reason why you want a fintech app, but interesting point. I want to stay with that about the match to the holidays. And this happens quite often. And I don't know if you've seen this as well, John, where there are creatives or campaigns, they're just so out of left field because it has nothing to do with it, but they try to make that match. And I'm wondering, and maybe Athena, I'll ask you, how do you make the match without stretching the point? Because if we're thinking about the holiday season or Christmas, we might be thinking about pizza because we're saying, hey, I've got a ton of shopping to do, so I don't want to be doing a ton of cooking, but it's not necessarily what you think about at the holiday time. So, how do you handle that? How do you make that fit?
Okay, so the way that we've opted handling it this year, it's starting earlier. So we've already started a cross-channel campaign, focusing a little bit on the standard topic of nostalgia. We do happen to be 25 years old this year, so it coincided perfectly. And using this as our main campaign concept, let's say, we're gonna lead all the way to Christmas. So we're trying a little bit to steer away from just holiday messaging and only Black Friday discount and messaging, and we're trying to bring it all together under one nice, let's say, marketing umbrella that is gonna take our users through the entire funnel and not just try to last minute, let's say, persuade them to order who want to go back home. We're trying to remain top of mind throughout the entire period.
Interesting. So, you're adding the anniversary, and that makes it a bit different. So, it is a celebration, but at several different levels. Caroline, how about you? How are you approaching making that match? Because the sort of the obvious one is to say something about commerce, but you don't want to just talk about holiday purchases. You want to really be relevant to the holidays. How are you approaching that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one thing you always also need to look at specifically in Christmas shipping times, right? So for us, it doesn't make sense to run a campaign 2 days before Christmas because products are just not going to arrive. So it's a bit preloaded usually. And then, I mean, yeah, as you said, it's super obvious for commerce to run Christmas and Black Friday campaigns and all of that, and the match is really easily made. But yeah, at the same time, as you said, you need to stay relevant. So what we do, as I think it's not really a big secret that About You runs quite a lot of just general sale campaigns throughout the years. So we kind of try to stay relevant throughout the whole sales season and not just focus on specifically Christmas or specifically Black Friday. So yeah, just kind of stay, as Athena also said, like stay top of mind during the whole period.
Let's stay with you, Carolyn, for a moment and talk about audiences. How does it differ by audience? Do you have knowledge, maybe which customers are into Christmas or maybe celebrate a different holiday? And maybe do you market differently to existing customers, existing users versus new users?
So, I mean, the general strategy does not differentiate that much between new users and existing users. We do sometimes have specific sales that are targeted more towards new users, like a specific new customer voucher, not so much during the big sales seasons, though, because we do want to focus on all users and all potential customers. There is a difference though in like when you kind of want to how you want to steer your budgets, because it does make sense, and we've seen that a lot more, that especially when it comes to new users or user acquisition, it does make sense to front load the ad spend more than with existing customers, because they're new, they're like time to conversions are usually a bit longer, they look around a little bit more, especially on a day like Black Friday or like the whole weekend when everything is on sale and there's so many discounts. Users tend to compare prices a lot. So you kind of want to make sure you get those new users into your app before that so they're familiar with it. Um, to your second question, you asked like different holidays that have different importance. That is mostly on a per country level. I mean, not everyone celebrates Christmas on the 24th. Netherlands, I think it's big on the 6th um, of December. Then there's some countries that celebrate early January, a lot bigger. So we do try to cater to that with specific sales strategies for the different countries.
And Justin's in Amsterdam, right? You've got Sinterklaas, which is early in December. Which was I'm of Dutch heritage myself, so we always had early presents. I noticed something in your background there, Carolyn. You've got super Freund. Am I saying that right? I'm not German. I sounds like
Yeah.
super French.
That is actually a craft beer from Hamburg.
Okay. Well, very
Maybe
friendly.
a little bit of an ad here. They're making good beer if you come across it.
Well,
Definitely grab a can.
you would know. Justin, let's turn to you. Same question. How do you differentiate your holiday marketing by audience or maybe even country?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, it's a challenge that we face every day, especially in creative, because I have a very strong creative background. I came from sort of the mobile rich media base when that was like really taking off, and also mobile video. Um, we, I can talk about it from a creative standpoint. So we've got some clients that are pushing and promoting their app in several markets. So one of those is a meditation app called Petit Bambou, and they've grown incredibly in the French market. They're number one in France, but then looking to expand into Germany and into Spain. And we're we're producing a lot of creative to try and work out what will perform the best in those markets. But it always comes as a surprise, because one thing will do very well in France and one thing might not do so well in Germany, and vice versa in Spain. So it's a real challenge. I can only speak about it from a creative standpoint, but if you're going into different markets, I think it's great to have a marketing team, especially in European countries, that are made up of different cultures and people that speak different languages, so that at least you get a balanced view from your team, and then you can, take the right strategies and know what to do in specific markets. So it's great to have an international team, and I see it more and more and more in other companies, right? That they'll have people from Greece or Spain or Germany or France in their team to know what could work well in those markets, and ask people in the marketing teams.
Love that. And I got to say, I love the artwork in your background. Amazing.
Thank you. I try and change it every week. So you're lucky this one's a good one.
I mean, I want to pick up on that because that was something I was going to get to later, but now that we're there, I'm going to stay there. And it's about that localization. You know, you have to as marketers, and you both have, spanned multiple markets, 26 for you, Caro, getting localization is tough. And then we think about the holidays, it's an emphasis on empathy, diversity. It's not just a holiday message anymore. And it's very hard to generalize. How do you approach that, Caroline? Because you, again, 26 countries, that's what you've brought it to. And that message has to resonate.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also looking at how much About You has grown over the past years. I remember when I started there 3 years ago, we were just launching our seventh country. And in 3 years, we've grown up to 26. It's still something that we're learning how to really handle. And we're not perfect at that yet, obviously, especially with the strong growth we just had. But basically, I mean, we have, and as Justin just talked about, we have within the marketing team, but also within our international markets teams, basically managers for each specific markets, and they're either directly from that market. Most of the times they are. They're experts at that, and they can give some really, really good advice on like what works well in this market and what doesn't. And we have had these marketing campaigns where we've just seen like this message does not resonate, and then we've had to make changes last minute to it as well.
What about the actual creative? I'll ask you, Athena, because you have, of course, you're thinking about your celebration, but there's also the whole idea of getting into the holiday spirit. Is there something that works or helps localize this at this time of the year?
Hmm. What we have seen over the past year specifically, and it has also risen during coronavirus, is people gathering at home more and more. So it used to be something that happened in the past very occasionally, here in Greece at least, because of the good weather. Now it happens more and more, and I think it's a trend that has come, it will stay for the forthcoming future. So we take this into account, and as Caroline mentioned before about the discounts and the vouchers, etc., we keep it in mind when it comes to messaging, especially existing users, with offers that resonate usually with family gatherings, with friend gatherings, etc. So we take this more into account as the holiday season comes up, because we also have a lot of celebrations in terms of name days. That's a thing here. So someone from another country will see very strict patterns in our conversions, for example, and many times they're due to very big name days. So, for example, names like John, it's like half of Greece is celebrating on that day. And especially over the last 2 3 years, it's becoming more and more frequent that people are just gonna order some pizzas or some euros. So we take this into account and incorporate it in our strategy, mostly for existing users. So incorporating it into our retargeting, into our internal messaging, etc.
That makes a ton of sense. Justin, we'll go back to you. If you don't like the question, just mute yourself and then just pretend it's a technical issue and we won't be able to hear anything. It's all good. Um,
Perfect.
we talked about this briefly, right? Everybody kind of ramps their holiday, their marketing for the holidays. So we often see the highest fill rates, the most expensive CPMs, and we also see good results, high user acquisition rates. What do you do? What do you recommend your clients do? Suck it up, spend the money, or do you try and get a little more creative and try and do something earlier, later, maybe work around the fringes, try different partners, time the market differently? What's your best strategy here in a busy, noisy market?
Great. That's a really great question. I think it's a combination of lots of things. I think you definitely have to suck it up. If things are expensive, CPMs are higher and there's more competition in the market, you definitely have to suck it up. As long as you can see that your customer lifetime value will be able to handle that, because if it's a one-off sale and you're never going to get that customer back again, or it's very difficult to get repeat customers, then be careful. But if you have a strong LTE strategy to get them coming back again and again and again, that's great. I think, personally, there's way too much fixation on some of the bog standard platforms, essentially Facebook, Instagram, and using certain Google platforms. I think people are starting to look beyond that now, which I think is positive. I'm a huge fan of Reddit, especially Reddit is amazing in the US market. It's growing massively in the UK. People need to take a look at Twitter again. I think Pinterest is going to be something very interesting for shopping, and I do see a lot more brands looking into Pinterest. It's quite a creative platform, and let's see if PayPal buy it. I hope they do. And then I'm a huge fan of TikTok. I got on TikTok like ages ago. I think
Productivity dropped like a stone.
absolutely, yeah. I think it's got a long way to go as a platform. But I think, yeah, you have to suck it up in a way. But you've got to get in on the party. And if you're not in the party, then you won't enjoy it, will you? So people have to look beyond to new things.
I to follow up on that and understand, yes, you do take advantage of it, but when exactly is that party? When does it start? I've heard here, November for Athena, Carolyn, sort of the whole season, but, you know, is there a starting point that says, "Hey, this will allow me to get in just that little bit earlier to get that little bit more benefit"? Maybe Carolyn, you can weigh in on that, or Justin, what you've seen amongst your clients?
It does depend a little bit on the country as well. So, for instance, in Romania, Black Friday is like about 2 weeks prior to the actual like, international Black Friday. So, there we obviously start a bit earlier looking into these things. But usually, depending a little bit, either late October or latest Singles Day is a pretty good kickoff for the whole season.
So good timing for a show, John. This is like the last week you can do this or die.
It's always challenging to do a show about holiday marketing because quite often you hear from marketers that when they're working on campaigns, it's like 3 months earlier, right? It's way in advance and they're building all that stuff out. But of course, now is when we're thinking about it and when people are thinking about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Should I have done what I did? What should I do next year? All that stuff. Interesting stuff about timing. Let's talk about the global supply crunch. I mean, we've seen the stacked up container ships in the ports around LA, in the ports around Vancouver, near where I live, New York. We've seen that in Europe as well. Some of the goods that people are waiting for holidays are maybe stuck in the Suez Canal still. Who knows? Do you anticipate any global supply crunch? Carolyn, maybe let's ask you first.
I mean, so far, luckily, we've not seen a huge effect on that yet. So I'm very hopeful that we also it'll also stay that way. We'll have to see. I mean, at the same time, what we also do is we have a lot of exclusive products, exclusive collections. We are just ramping up our secondhand inventory. So we do have some alternatives that we can market as well that will be there. But yeah, so far, as I said, it seems to be quite all right.
Athena, do you have any exposure to that? I mean, obviously you're more food products, you're very local, but perhaps some of the ingredients come from elsewhere. Are you seeing any issues there?
Yes, there seem to be issues in supply chain in general, and they're even showing up in local products. That's the strangest part. So as a result, it's been a very tough period trying to find the best offers for our customers while also balancing all these issues on the back end, let's say. So it's something that we definitely keep in mind as Black Friday, for example, is getting closer. You're going to think pizza is not a technology offer. Yet, last year, we had amazing interest from our customers for a whole week that we had Black Friday offers. So now we're trying to be equally, let's say, competitive and dynamic, but it's getting tougher a little bit because the prices of the product keep getting altering throughout the last couple of months, actually.
Here's where mobile gamers and mobile game publishers are super happy, Justin. I mean, like, there's no supply crunch for in-app gems. There's no supply crunch for in-app purchases. The
Yeah.
supply can absolutely match demand. That's kind of a nice problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, we do work with gaming companies, Stadia Games, for example, and of course, there's no supply issue. But what I would say for a lot of companies right now is that there's a skills issue, right? So We're seeing like consumer prices rise. We're seeing huge demand in the market now that, the major COVID lockdowns have gone and companies are growing. Some companies are growing incredibly with the investment they get. So yeah, they might not have a supply issue in terms of goods, but they definitely have a skills issue to find great people in their teams. And there's a lot of competition in the market at the moment, I think. But yeah, on the whole, I think the apps that we work with, they're lucky in that sense that they don't have those issues.
Mhm.
We see a tail waving through Athena's screen. What could that be?
Sorry, my zoo just came around. It's been a whole hour that I've sent the door, so now they're making an appearance all of a sudden.
Wonderful.
Making an appearance. So we talk about what you're doing, and those are good ideas for holiday marketing for marketers. But of course, there's also something that you shouldn't do. So, what's something that marketers consistently get wrong? I think I'll ask you, Justin, because you work with so many, and then I'll ask the others to weigh in. So, what is it they consistently do not get right? In other words, get wrong.
Um, I think maybe timing can be a bit of an issue. So expectations when campaigns will work and how quickly they will work. I think people need to be a little bit more patient. That's something that they get wrong. And then especially from a creative point of view, everybody has an opinion on creative, but at the end of the day, the consumer decides which creative will be the best and which creative will perform. And it always surprises people. It always surprises people which one does the best in terms of performance in growing user base. So those two things I think get wrong.
Kara, how about you? How about what you're seeing, pitfalls or something to be avoided that they're just not avoiding?
I mean, I'm with Justin on the whole timing thing. I think timing is really, really important, and also thinking about incrementality. I mean, your ROAS is obviously going to look great on Black Friday, kind of no matter how much money you spend. But you do want to consider that not all of those users that are currently purchasing you actually acquired on that day. So definitely. Make some really good analysis prior to that, like how were the last years? When did you actually acquire the users that purchase on Black Friday itself, and where do you maybe want to shift a little bit more attention to which day specifically? So that's a very big thing that I'm still seeing that some companies just go all out and don't really focus on the time before. And then I think another thing is what I'm specifically seeing on creative is that a lot of companies or a lot of advertisers just kind of try to compete over the highest percentage number. But you do need to actually look at the products, because Black Friday or the whole weekend is a weekend where users are gonna really compare prices and seek out the best offers. So just having a really high percentage sign on your creative does not automatically mean that people are actually going to buy. You need to make sure you have those really good offers that are really valuable to the user as well.
And you never really want to compete on price because that's the deadly, slippery slope.
Exactly.
Well, Athena, what about you? Anything that they should be avoiding that they're not, or that you've learned that needs to be avoided?
I'm gonna go back to what Justin mentioned about the creatives at least, and in general about continuing business as usual. According to my experience, it's something that should be avoided because many people or many companies just continue with the same messaging, with the same creative, not staying relevant, let's say, in any way with the whole holiday spirit and what people are expecting to see from them. So I will go definitely back to that, not continuing business as usual. Trying to follow the trend, even if the prices go up exactly as CPM, etc., can go up during this period. At least take advantage of it fully with your messaging. And another thing, I will go back to what Carl mentioned a lot about making sure you know your success metrics and keeping a tight track of them during the holiday season. Be ready to act on this and not just lock down a campaign or lock down a promotion for 2 or 3 months without actually measuring what the outcome is in the end. and just waiting for the whole holiday season to end. They made a very nice end.
And a wonderful end, the categories, cat calisthenics. So briefly, each one of you, just sort of like the goodie bag. We used to do this, John. Remember the one thing you need with you. That's the reason. That's not the only one reason that people listen in, but one important thing to remember, single most important thing to remember when prepping for holiday-related campaigns. I will start with you, Carl.
Incrementality,
Okay,
basically. It.
straight to it.
Yeah.
Wow. Brief indeed. Awesome.
But yeah, it's what it comes down to, and it's even more important to look at during these times, because there is a lot of noise in the market, and like you really have to make sure you do reach your users before, and you really want to make sure you don't just. Yeah, there's a lot of noise in the market. CPMs are going up anyway, so it does get a little bit less inefficient from a cost point of view. So you want to make sure you do spend those euros wisely during those days.
Okay, incrementality. Justin, what about you?
Start early. Don't leave it too late. Definitely. I think that's key. And yeah, so I admire companies and teams that definitely plan it in and start early. We just got a little bit of distraction from the cat there.
And I was about to say that I was going to say exactly start early. That will be my 1 point.
Excellent.
I think the cat agreed to that.
The cat is very
Yeah.
2 votes, 3 votes on start early here.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Wonderful. We're almost done here, but even though we're re-envisioning Mobile Heroes Uncensored to be a little more serious, a little more business-like, we have to have some fun. So we're going to go rapid fire here, just as quick as Carolyn was before she gave the additional detail, but not quite as quick, maybe. Rapid fire on 4 quick questions, and we'll just go Carolyn, Justin, Athena on each of them, because that's the order you look like you're in on my screen here. Carolyn, start with you. Biggest marketing nightmare.
I would say so far ATT and now AMM depreciation from Facebook. Both of those were and are pretty scary.
Excellent. Justin, biggest marketing nightmare.
Starting a campaign on a Friday.
We need a little more detail here. Give us 30 seconds of detail.
Oh, okay. Okay, because we're working with a lot of clients, right? Call it Frantic Friday. So, can you just maybe ask us on Thursday? Does it have to be done on a Friday afternoon? So, yeah, I find that a regular marketing nightmare. Frantic Friday.
Wonderful. Frantic Friday. I love it. Athena, turning to you, biggest marketing nightmare.
New attribution updates right in the midst of the holiday season.
We're just going to change the way you measure. No biggie, no worries. Hey, no problem whatsoever. Okay, next one, starting with Carolyn again. Most annoying industry pet peeve. Most annoying industry pet peeve.
I don't want to, honestly, I feel bad judging someone, so I'm just not going to no comment that one.
Oh, come on. We got to know. We got to know. We got to know.
No, honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell actually, because I do follow a lot of accounts, I do follow a lot of people, and I find no one specifically annoying there. Maybe they had most just get lost.
I'm not talking about a person. I'm just saying, what's the most annoying thing about the industry? I know we all know Justin is super annoying. That's I'm talking about thing in the industry.
She thought it was personal. She was like the most annoying person. She's obviously thinking.
Yeah,
Would never ask that question, Carolyn. Terrific. Wow. You would answer me for asking that question. What is your biggest industry pet peeve, Carolyn?
It's honestly, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I'm struggling here.
I will answer for you. Your biggest industry pet peeve is annoying people asking you dumb questions. There you go. Done. Check. Awesome. Justin, on to you. Most annoying industry pet peeve.
On LinkedIn, when they say, I'm so proud. Right?
That's just when I should have said that. But
LinkedIn is just I'm so proud. So proud. Like,
Yeah.
how proud can you be? Honestly,
Really very proud, incredibly, unbelievably proud. Athena, returning to you, most annoying industry pet peeve.
Everybody has an opinion, especially about creative. I mean, like everybody, after you've ABCD tested everything, there's still people from other departments, other categories, still have an opinion about them.
But I don't like it. Yes, exactly. Carolyn, back up to you. And you know what? This one is super positive. I mean, you can't get anything negative about this one. So you'll probably answer this one. Your most unexpected success in the industry.
Well, we recently, we recently launched a few countries in Southern Europe. So Italy, then Greece, both in September. I'm pretty sure Athena has not been able to escape our campaigns, and not Portugal. And it's actually looking pretty positive, and especially big country like Italy, where there is obviously a lot of competition. We managed to get #1 on the App Store on day one, and that was pretty unexpected and yeah, pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's very impressive. Justin, your most unexpected success.
so I'm going to speak on behalf of Admiral Media here and Andre. I do believe that Tier, one of Admiral Media's clients, just became a unicorn, and now 2 companies that Admiral has worked with, they'll grow, have become unicorns. So it's 2 unexpected unicorns, and maybe a few more to come. But that's definitely unexpected from the teeth, and was really, really nice.
That is great news, Justin. Little tip, don't tell him it was unexpected. Tell him you believed it from day one.
We
Absolutely.
believed it. Yeah. Okay. It was a pleasant surprise.
There we go. There we go. Excellent. Athena, your most unexpected success.
Well, what can I say? How can I follow up now after that thing? I wanted to say about some previous experience that I had that it was launching Latin American cities for ride hailing app in the past. But it was very interesting because we were coming head to head competing with Uber. So I'm not going to name the app, etc. But it was super dynamic and very aggressive, very demanding, and of course very, very interesting.
Good, 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 good. Excellent. Carolyn, we're back up to you. It's the last one. Last time you're on the hot seat. Now you can totally relax. You can have some beer, some friendly beer, some friendly German beer right after this. The person you respect most in the industry.
Aw. I want to say you guys.
The check is in the mail.
All of those people basically bringing other stuff
Just
together.
stop.
Yeah,
You're done.
that's enough.
You're done. You said you guys. Don't need it more.
We're gonna
Amazingly mean all people like bringing other people together to have these talks, to make these podcasts. I mean, everyone who's kind of, working towards informing everyone else, and also bringing up these really great conversations, and keeping the conversation going as well. I think that's mainly the people I look up to.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a wonderful German answer. And people who, in general, absolutely love it. Justin, most respected person in the industry for you.
I'm first of all going to name drop my friend Luke Judge, who we went to university together, and he ran an agency in London and grew it massively. So like for like someone that who you respect from uni, that's like Luke Judge. He's a cool guy. But I think from mobile and advertising in general, it's a guy called Greg Isbiston. Maybe you know Greg. He runs Bliss Media, and he's been doing it for like 18 years. And he's one of those guys that just never ever gave up, and went through real highs and lows, right? And he's just always been in mobile. And Greg's a cool guy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Athena, last hits, most respected person in the industry for you.
I don't have someone specific to mention because it depends also a lot on the category. Like,
Just like Peggy.
so I'm gonna go with Peggy. No pressure here. No, but it depends a lot on the category, on the topic on which I'm focusing on. I do have a lot of respect lately for people on the analytics, measurement, the attribution department, because of all the changes. So I'm following several of them, either from Google or from other platforms or channels, let's say. So, and at the moment, I'm going to agree fully with Caro as well, because a lot of people are putting great work into bringing people together, into launching clients from a distance when things are
Big hug.
demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just sponsored. It would be unfair.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I have to say, this is late at night for you guys. You guys are in Europe. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful. Carolyn, you've been incredible. Athena as well. Justin, so many great insights. Peggy, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you all for being on Mobile Heroes Uncensored. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.